It's a thing that people like things that are in their own image. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Mr. Bench's Book Reviews. What's in the box today? It is already something with a remarkable picture on the front. Two large eyes on a square. And I guess two legs, or possibly, well, even if it is a chair or inanimate piece of furniture, those are still traditionally referred to as legs. Its name doesn't have a name on the front. It says this book is about Square, and on the spine, it seems to be called Square as well. That's a bold cover choice. Not writing the name of your book on your cover, just implying it with this square object. It's by Barnett and Jon Klassen, and it's got quite a cardboardy cover. Chunky. Oh, but it's not a board book. It has actual paper pages. But it's probably aimed at a slightly younger audience based on the chunkiness of the cover. Let's see. Here we go. Well, I'm rather enamored with that cover, at least. And let's see how enamored I am with the content. Square by Barnett and Jon Klassen. This is Square. And there's a picture of him. And he's in front of what are either some droppings or possibly some footprints. I expect that will become clear. Square with a capital S, so his name is Square. Its name, we don't know. If it's a boy square or a girl square. This is Square's secret cave. There it is. Because of the nature of this book with its very limited text, I will be showing you more of the pictures than I normally do. If I can figure that out, I do struggle slightly. You can see the secret cave is also square in shape, meaning that Square can access its cave quite nicely. But it does make it less secret, I suppose, because is that going to be what it's about? He makes friends with a differently shaped person who cannot enter his cave because of the whole round peg, square holes thing. Every day, Square goes down into his cave, so it is a boy square. So there he is, basically underground. He seems to have lots of boxes that are also fairly square, or possibly cube. It's not clear yet if Square is a two-dimensional object or if he's actually a cube and just calls himself Square because he's talking normally. Seems to live in a world of some depth. It seems to have some sort of third dimension to it, based on the way it's drawn at least. And takes a block from the pile below the ground. Are these square blocks? So what's going to do with him? By the way, even though he obviously doesn't have a great many facial features, they can still give him personality by, for example, here he's looking straight ahead, and in this picture, he's where is he? There he is. He's looking a bit to the side, if you can see that. So he's looking somewhat suspiciously at these blocks, or thoughtfully. He pushes the block up and out of the cave. He's going up some sort of hill now. This is the same picture we had earlier. There's the outside of the cave with the square opening. And he's pushing, not with any arms, though he's just kind of sliding himself against it. That's wonderful. He brings the block to the pile at the top of the hill. That is his work. So, fairly menial. Just pushing things the same shape as him up a hill. Or maybe that will be part of it. Maybe the thing of interest will be there's, I don't know. It's easy to push a square up a hill and maybe some other shapes. Maybe that will be. Oh, here we are. One day, while Square was doing his work, Circle floated by. We say floated. Circle doesn't have any legs. So I guess circle is a flying circle. There you go. Or he's bouncing. Floated could be being used to mean bounce there. But there's certainly a shadow that looks underneath him. So, and no footprints. So those probably were footprints earlier for square. He'd gone plod, plod. So you could see the marks he'd left on the ground. And now you can see the shadow as circle has floated. Oh, and circle is looking at him as well. Square, said Circle, you are a genius. I did not know you were a sculptor. Ah, yes, said Square. What is a sculptor? A sculptor shapes blocks into art, said Circle. Ah, yes, said Square. I see what you mean. But he did not really see what she meant. Oh, so it's a girl circle, boy and a girl. Very traditional. I don't really see what she means either. Here it's quite clear again that circle is actually floating above the ground. That's quite a talent for a circle to have. This is a wonderful sculpture, said Circle. It looks just like you. Well, I noticed that the blocks were square in shape. And Circle has noticed it as well, so I'm at least as observant as this circle. Square looked at his block. Yes, I suppose it is wonderful. I guess it's a thing that people like things that are in their own image. You know, even very young children like to play with dolls that maybe look like babies. Although they also play with bears. Now, said Circle, you must do one of me. Oh, said Square. Well, Circle doesn't seem to realise that Square just found all these blocks on the ground. His job was just shoving them up the hill rather than... So there's a secret sculptor in the cave. Or possibly nature is the sculptor. Oh, said Square, I will come back for it tomorrow. Goodbye, genius. Circle, said Square, I think I should tell you something. Oh, that's good. I was worried he wasn't going to tell him, and we were going to have a Rumpelstiltskin-like situation on our hands. But she was already gone. Oh dear. So we are going to have a Rumpelstiltskin-like situation on our hands. Oh dear, 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 said Square. He studied the block. I have to make this block look like Circle, he said. Circle is perfect, so I must make this perfect. I mean, circle is what you might call a perfect circle. But I guess the implication here is that Square also quite likes Circle. Boy meets girl and all that. He's often standing... I don't think that is a footprint. I don't know if he's just always emitting droppings. Because there's very often, like, something near him. Or if they're just adding pebbles and stuff to the ground. Still haven't figured that out. Well, what's Square gonna do? Shall we have a guess? Find a depository of circular blocks. Learn how to sculpt. Or, I don't know, or get some sort of cookie cutter. I mean, or find someone... No, I don't know. This is exciting. Oh, well, he's got arms. He's got arms all of a sudden. I thought he was just a square with legs, but he's got arms, and he's even got tools. He's got a hammer and chisel. Well, this is a great development I had not expected. Square got to work shaping the block. Oh, crumbs, said Square. This is not perfect. So he's knocked a chunk off it, but it's obviously not a perfect curvature. Oh, dirt, said Square. This is much worse. He went back to work, so he's knocked another lump off it, but he's not got himself a circle. Maybe he's going to do it when he's finished. It has a tiny, tiny circle, but it is good or perfect. I like the way dirt is a bit like crumbs, but like even worse, because dirt is just a bit like crumbs. Crumbs could even be dirt in some situations. He worked and worked, so he's just making lots of little rocks. And worked and worked. Oh, it's raining now as well. The pathetic fallacy has introduced itself. In times of difficulty, the heavens open. Oh, and his eyes have even gone slightly less elliptical. They're now almost like semicircles, and which I think is supposed to Make him look like he's about to cry, just as the heavens are doing. Ah! Cried Square. He's upset. He had carved the whole block away. There was nothing left. He was surrounded by rubble. Whatever is the opposite of perfect, that is what this is. We got imperfect, which sounds like the opposite of perfect, but actually imperfect doesn't mean utterly abysmal. It can just mean not quite perfect. So I don't know if you need the is in that sense. Whatever is the opposite of perfect, this is what this is. Whatever the opposite of perfect is. But very often when people start getting emotional, they trip over their lines slightly. So I don't blame Square. I must stay up all night and figure this out. Well, that's the sort of solution that somebody who lived a rather isolated life would come up with. If Square had friends, he might say, I must consult my friend Triangle. He will be able to help me. But no, he just thinks working harder is the solution and jeopardizing his health. Square fell asleep. Well, that's probably good in lots of ways. Although he's in the rain. He's on his side now with his legs pointing out that way. That's quite amusing. And now they've made his eyes rather narrow as they droop. And it's still chucking it down. Maybe the rain will erode one of these bits of rubble into a pebble that's a circle. The next morning, Square woke up wet. That'll be the rain for you. He despaired. What have I done? I push blocks. I do not shape them. I am not a genius. Well, that is commentary, I guess, on the fact that artists are given more credit than the lowly builder. But maybe the block pushing will be shown to be important too. Hello, genius, said Circle. I mean, it almost sounds sarcastic here, but I think Circle means it honestly, sincerely. I am early. Oh dear, whispered Square. Are you finished? asked Circle. Oh yes, said Square. I am finished. Circle peered down. Oh my, she said. Oh, look what's happened. The rubble has allowed for a puddle to form, and Circle is peering into that, and she's about to see her reflection, which will look, I would imagine, just like her. Which is pretty genius. If you'd done that deliberately, you'd be like pretty smart. There it is. It was beautiful. It was beguiling. It is perfect, said Circle. It is? asked Square. Yes, said Circle. Well, I didn't see that coming. That's a clever way of solving this pickle. And now Circle's just floating off again. You are a genius, said Circle. Is Square going to come clean? But was he really? Now he's looking a bit sad because he feels he's deceived his companion. He's having a feeling of guilt. Oh, and that's how it ends. So they didn't say he was a genius at pushing rocks up hills. Well, that was wonderful. I like it when you are made, or inspired, I should say, to speculate about what may happen. And then I was trying to think of ideas, because you kind of think there's going to be some solution to this. They're not just going to leave it with him failing and Circle coming along and saying useless. It would have been unlikely to have ended that way, but I didn't see that coming with the rain. Even though I noticed it was raining, I did see that, but I thought maybe the rain. I was going more down the erosion sort of route rather than the reflection route. Even though that does come up in other stories. There's a famous story about a bone that sees another bone in the pool and goes, and then loses its bone. But that's more a story of I think they're going with don't be so greedy there and be content with what you have. Whereas here they use the reflection to be wonderfully positive. Although the way Circle just kind of departs, like they don't have a dance or anything or make friends. So it has this slightly melancholy ending with Square. I mean, they may have been better for their overall friendship if Square had being able to say, no, sorry, I couldn't do it. I'm glad you've got your reflection here, but it wasn't me. Maybe you can help me push this rock up a hill, because that's what I'm actually good at. So yeah, makes you think, that one. Very well done, Mac Barnett and Jon Klassen. Funny, wonderfully drawn, very nice style. And I guess it's was also interesting, the whole pursuit of perfection. Like, what is perfection, etc. So lots of interesting themes there in what was a short book. So even though I assumed it would be aimed at a young audience, I think young audience probably could enjoy it. But I think for the slightly older reader, there's also a lot to be gained from reading that book. Highly recommended. Well done, Barnett and Klassen. And do join me again for another of Mr. Bench's book reviews. Bye!